Hey, what's up, everybody? We're going to do a little partial learning from the Lubavitch Rebbe in the few minutes that I have over here. Didn't get to this in the morning, so we're going to do afternoon styles. Afternoon styles, baby. Yesterday I missed, and wasn't good that I missed yesterday. The Torah gets jealous. Okay, so we're talking about the differences between Yishmael and Esav, and a different relationship that Abraham had with Esav vis-a-vis the relationship that Yitzchak Avinu had with. That Abraham had with Esav, and Yitzchak Avinu had with Abraham and Ishmael, and Esav and Abraham with Ishmael, and Yitzchak with Esav. Just reading a book now. I probably shouldn't be reading the book. It's a little bit depressing, but I've been reading a book about the war, the World War II, the American war in the Pacific against the Japanese. It's intense. It's really intense. It's bugging me out. I don't know. Should we read those books? It is history, so it's a mitzvah to know the history. But it's also, if you dwell on it, it could really depress you. But it could also make you appreciate what you have, because no matter how difficult things can be in life, at least we're living in times of relative peace. Baruch Hashem, we don't have to, chas v'shalom, send our kids to such a conflict. It's intense. Anyways, this learning should be in the zchut of world peace. Zrat Hashem in the merit that there should be world peace very soon. השייכות המיוחדת של עשיו ליצחק מרומזת גם במאמר חז"ל שגבורת ראשית עשיו הייתה בגו עטפי דיצחק. So the special connection between Yitzchak and Esav is also expressed in the teaching of our sages, that Esav's head was buried right in the chest, right near the breast of Yitzchak. This is a very strange thing. Hadin hu she'ein kovrin rasha l'tzadik. ועד כדי כך שכאשר הושלכה לקברו של אלישע גופת נביא שקר, הנה כדי למנוע את גבורתו בסמוך לאלישע, עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא נס, והיה זה נס של תחיית המתים, שקם נביא השקר לתחייה כמסובר בנביאים. ואם כן, איך ייתכן שרשע דעשיו קבור בגו עטפי דיצחק, ובפרט שחז"ל גופה מדגישים בדבריהם שזה רשע דעשיו רשיע. So how could it be? There's actually halacha that says you're not allowed to bury a rasha along with the tzaddik, and so much so we see there was a story with Elisha, the prophet, who there was going to be a navi sheker, a false prophet that was going to be buried alongside that a rasha shouldn't be buried with a tzaddik. So how could it be that willingly? How could it be that Esav, who was a rasha, was buried along with Yitzchak? Not only next to him or with him, but right near his chest. And even more so that Chazal, in teaching us that Esav, the head of Esav, was buried with Yitzchak, they say the head of this rasha, the dafka this rasha, Chazal is emphasizing the fact that he's a rasha in this teaching on the fact that he was buried along with Yitzchak. So how can we understand this? There's a halacha that says you can't bury a rasha, an evil person, along with a righteous person with a tzaddik. So how do we understand what's going on here? The bir bezeh heyoto shel Esav rasha haya mitzad gufo ach mitzad reishe uchafi shereishe nikeret hayim minutak mishafluto shemin haguf ino rasha ve'adarabba yesh lo shaychut leYitzchak v'chein yishar reishe v'go itife leYitzchak. So the explanation of this the Rebbe brings here. He brings here the teaching of the first Lubavitch Rebbe, the Baal Tanya here. He says that the way to understand this is to say that the Rosh of Esav represents his neshama. And it was only the goof, it was only the body of Esav that was actually the rasha, that was actually the evil part of him, whereas the Rosh represented his neshama. So on the level of his neshama, he was still righteous. And when his head was minutak, was disconnected from his body, that head, which represented the neshama, was shayach. It was befitting in some way for that neshama of Esav to be buried along near the chest of Yitzchak. Well, derech zeh hamavur, that's how you understand this. That's how you start to understand this. That there was the neshama of Esav was very special and very holy, and therefore, when we see that by the story that his head, which represents his neshama, was buried along with Yitzchak, that's to explain further. Well, derech hamavur benogea l'satan shemitzad shor shelamala hini satan ufnina l'shem shamayim nitkavnu. So we see here there's also a teaching about the Satan, about the evil one, right? Satan, that from the side from actually the shorish of neshama, from the root of Satan is that he's always intending to do things l'shem shamayim. But when he comes down into the world, that's his root. That is l'shem shamayim. When it comes down to the root, how that's manifested is in the most terrible tragedies, like the destruction of the first Beit Hamikdash, or the destruction of the second Beit Hamikdash. So the same thing that we teach, that we learn about Esav, the same thing is true about the Satan. The same thing is true about Esav. כפי שנולד מיצחק, היינו מצד הראש והשורש שלו, כשלעצמו הרי הוא טוב. Since he's born from Yitzchak, so from the place of his rosh, his head, which represents his root, what represents his neshama, he's good. ורק כאשר הראש השורש נמשך למטה ומתקשר מתלבש בגופו של עשיו, שהוא רע גמור, אין ניצוץ הקדוש יכולה להאיר שם, על דרך מה שנאמר, נר ראשון ידוך. But when the shoresh, when the root comes down and is manifest in the body of Esav, which is kulo ra, which is totally evil, then the spark of kedusha can't shine out anymore. The goof, the body of Esav, which was evil, was concealing it too much. But that doesn't discount the fact that deep inside he had something good. Yeah, it's like Darth Vader, but because of that dark suit that he was wearing, because of the impenetrable armor of his evil suit of the dark side that got over him as he grew up, and he was drawn into the dark side. He was, from his root, came drawn into the dark place. Now he was no longer to express his goodness until the very end, when he was able to do tshuva upon his death. Similar to Esav, that upon his death, Esav's head rolled into Yitzchak, went back to its true source. So too, when Darth Vader was dying, so he also had an Aras tshuva. I'm not such a big Star Wars guy, but that was the only mashal that I could think of. And this nekuda, and this point that the shorish of Esav was very holy. This is how he differentiates, or how he's better to a certain degree than Ishmael, because as we said before, last time we learned, we said before that Esav was considered a Jew, albeit a Jew, a mumar, what's the word? Like a heretic or someone who's out of the fold. But he's still considered a part of the Jewish family to a certain extent, but not Ishmael, even though Ishmael did Tshuva and Esav did it. So how do we understand this? Hein Ishmael v'hein Esav liotam toldot Avram v'Yitzchak harei af al pi sheyatzu v'nifredu mehem kanal nishar b'hem koach ha'av u'bifrat shetzadikim domin leboran v'yesh kedusha nitzchit afilu mas yadeim al achad kama v'kam betoldot shelahem. Klomar yesh behem ha'ara v'hashpa minyanim kedusha u'kedushasam shel Avram Yitzchak. אבל זוהי קדושת אברהם ויצחק כפי שהיא נמשכת ופעלה מחוץ לתחום הקדושה במקום שיצא ממנו. So we see that since they come from such great tzaddikim, Yishmael and Avraham do have the imprint of their parents, of their fathers on them. And they do have some sort of kedusha that's connected to them, that's nimshach, and that's drawn down and manifest onto them through the koyach of their fathers, the koyach of the tzaddikim, that the tzaddikim, the teaching is that tzaddikim resemble their creators. So that's what they both have in common, is that they both have the imprint of kedusha on them from their fathers. The difference between them is how this stamp of kedusha that they got from their fathers was imprinted within them. How was the influence manifest? There's a difference between how it manifests in Ishmael and how it manifests in Esav. Bishmael haya davar be'ofen shehiviu la'asot tshuva. ולמאידך אפילו לאחר שהתשובה נשאר בגדרו הקודם, גדר של העדר שייכות לאברהם. So Nishmal, that influence of Kedusha that he got from Abraham was manifest in the fact that he did tshuva. It was expressed in the fact that eventually he changed his ways and he became an ethical person, an Oved Hashem, a servant of God, one who walked in the pathways of God, in the paths of Abraham. So that was where his Kedusha was expressed, even though there's a lack in terms of his association with Abraham, in that he is not really considered to be part of the Jewish fold. Nevertheless, that hashpa'ah, that influence of Kedusha, was felt in the fact that he did tshuva in his lifetime. And what's the difference? So that's Ishmael. What's the difference in the expression or the influence of Kedusha between Ishmael and Esav? The Esav, it's a different story. Masha'en ken Esav, af shemitzad gufo madrigato b'chuta afilu mishmael v'zeu atam shelo asa tshuva. Even though from the side of his goof, his physicality, his level was a lot lower than Ishmael. His physicality was so dark and so coarse that he never even had a thought, or he never did tshuva. He never repented in his lifetime. Nevertheless, mitzad reishe kefishu nifrad menutak magufa. But nevertheless, from the side of his rosh, from his source, from his neshama, when it's menutak, when it's separated from his goof, harehu bego itve diyitzchak. From the side of his shorish neshama, from his rosh, he's considered to be like mamish at the breast of Yitzchak. He's very connected. He's in the fold. He's considered to be a yid. So this is the difference. So kedusha is manifest in both. It's imprinted on both Ishmael and Esav. But Ishmael, it's manifest or expressed that stamp of kedusha is manifest in that he did tshuva. He repented in his lifetime. That was how tshuva was, how the holiness was experienced or expressed in him. And Esav, he never did tshuva, but from his rosh, from the root of Esav, was always in kedusha, and even a higher level of kedusha than Ishmael. And that's why when he was buried, his head, which represents his root, was buried alongside mamash at the breast of Yitzchak Avinu, to show that from his root he's part of the fold. He's part of Klal Yisrael. Very interesting. We're going to leave that there for now. Only a few more minutes. We're going to learn a little bit of Rabbi Nachman. Again, Rabbi Nachman Torah Aleph discusses this inyan of Esav and Yaakov a little bit, of the conflict and the connection between Edom and Klal Yisrael. Last time we learned that it's the chen and chashivus, what gives Am Yisrael its greatness, its grandeur in society, as well vis-a-vis their fellow man and the fellow nations, as well as as well as Hashem, is the Torah learning, that they do. And they said that since, because of our sin, and we said, Rabbi Nachman was explaining, because of our sins and because l'chora, ostensibly due to our lack of Torah learning, that chen and chashivus, that attractiveness and importance that Klal Yisrael once had in the times of in Geuladik times and redeemed times has been taken away and given over to the nations of the world, right? So how do I understand this? What does chen and chashivus? How do we see that manifest in our world today? Today, it's not righteous people, Jews, Talmidei Chachamim, that are like on every plaster on everybody's wall, and like everybody wants to see them and paying, so much money to see them, to be associated with them. People aren't attracted to Torah scholars. There's no chen and chashivus. There is, but you have to have very refined vision to see it. Where is the chen and chashivus in the world? Now it's with the movie stars, it's with the athletes, it's with the nations of the world, and the nations, the celebrities among the nations. That's where the chen and chashivus. Everybody's attracted to that. Everybody thinks that's so awesome to be connected to. And even people in of course, even people in the Jewish world were attracted to celebrity. We're attracted to relatively superficial things. So we see that the chen and chashivus has been taken over by not only like the goyim, the nations of the world, but the values. A different value system, that's distinct from Torah, that's different from Torah, and that's really what this is that the values of the world have shifted. Value systems of the world have shifted. The chen and attractiveness and chashivus and importance has been shifted onto things that are not Torah, that are not Yidden, basically, that are not Torah values. They're different. That people place the emphasis on a different value set, and people who express that different value set, we get the drift. So the only way to bring the chen and chashivus back, according to this teaching up until now, is to really immerse ourselves in Torah learning, and that's what brings back the chen and chashivus to Klal Yisrael, the attractiveness and the importance. But we're gonna go deeper. It's deeper than that. We're going to go take it slow. We're going to dive into the second paragraph here of Torah Aleph and the Likutei Moharan. And then you got to go to work. Ki Isha Yisraeli tzarich tamid listakel ba'asecha shekol davar l'kasher atzmo l'chokhma va'asecha sheyesh bechol davar. Ish HaYisraeli, the Israelite man. I would say that this is a person who wants to embody the values of Israel, not necessarily a red blood Jew, but anybody who wants to embody and carry out the values of Israel. What does he need to do? He has to always look at the seichel, at the intellect in everything in the world, and to connect himself to the chokhmah, to the wisdom and the seichel and the intellect. Because when you strive to connect to and seek out the intelligence and the wisdom behind everything in the world, that's the expression. That's how you can connect and come closer to Hashem Yitbarach, to the Creator, blessed be He, through that thing. Unbelievable. If you want to connect to God, let's take an example. Let's take this coffee that I typically drink. If I'm learning Torah, let's take this coffee. Do we want to connect? Do I just want to drink the coffee and get a little caffeine buzz going and improve my concentration the time that I'm learning? Yes. Okay. But if you would go into the seichel of the coffee, why is the coffee black? Why does the coffee make me feel more awake? Why does the coffee taste the way it does? Where does it come from? How is it made? How is it produced? What hormones and chemicals does it fire in my body? What chemicals does it have inside of it? The more you go into the seichel of the cup of coffee, and then the fact that the cup, how it's a liquid and it's contained within this vessel, it's a solid. The more you dive in, how often do we do this? But the more you dive into the seichel of the coffee, you can get mamish close to Hashem. You can be mitkarev to Hashem through this coffee. You can be mitkarev to Hashem because you see. This is I'm riffing off of what Rabbi Nachman is saying, but you could see the incredibleness of the Creator, the wondrousness of the Creator within this thing, because you see the seichel and the chokhmah that's behind it. You see the wisdom and the genius that's behind it. I say seichel in this context is genius. So an Isha Yisraeli, one who wants to embody the values of Israel, is not just concerned about the physical sensation generated by the cup of coffee, but more so more so, yes, that's gaval, that's geschmack, but more so with the wisdom, and the genius that's in the cup of coffee, as an example. Why? Ki hasechel hu or gadol, because sechel, intellect, is a very great light in this world. Ume'ir lo b'chol drachav, and it can shine shine out in all the person's ways. Moshe katuv chochmat adam ta'ir panav. The more a person is wise, the more a person it illuminates his face. So the more you generate knowledge, and the more you collect knowledge of things and understanding of things in this world, the more you're shining. The more you're shining with the connection of God, because the deeper you go with this intellectual understanding, the closer you can become to Hashem through all these things that you're starting to understand. Yaakov, and this is the aspect of Yaakov. Ki Yaakov zachal b'chora shu reishit, shu b'chinat chokhmah. Because how is this connected to Yaakov? And I'm going to do my best to explain it here, but it becomes a little more esoteric right now. Yaakov merited the rights to the firstborn, right? As we know in the famous story, Esau was coming back from hunting, and Yaakov was cooking the soup, and they made a bargain, and Esau sold his rights to the firstbornness to Yaakov for that soup. And the firstborn is called Reishit. The firstborn is connected to Chokhmah, the aspect of Chokhmah, as it's written in Psalms and Tehillim. Reishit Chokhmah. So we see there's a connection between the first, like the firstborn, and to Chokhmah, and to wisdom. V'zeh bechinat v'yakveni zeh pa'amayim. V'targum unkelus v'chakmani. And this is the meaning of v'yakveni zeh pa'amayim. It's in the name. Esau says about Yaakov, he cut me up from under my heels twice, right? Yaakov is connected to the word heel, and Esau says he came under pulled the rug from under my feet, from under my heels twice. The Targum Unkelus and the Unkelus, the Aramaic translation translates Yakveni as the Hakmani. He outsmarted me, he outwitted me twice. So we see here again this intimate connection between Yaakov and the aspect of Chokhmah, the aspect of wisdom, of intelligence, of having that Chokhmah illuminate your path in the world, having that intelligence and the knowledge and wisdom illuminate your path is connected to Yaakov. V'zeh b'chinat shemesh, ki hasechel hu me'ir lo b'chol drachav kamo hashemesh. And Chokhmah and Seichel is connected to and Yaakov were connected to the aspect of Shemesh, because just like the sun illuminates the world, so too our Chokhmah, so too the intellect and our wisdom illuminate our lives. V'zeh bechinat v'orach tzadikim ka'or noga holech v'or ad nechon hayom. Right, and this is also the aspect of chet, which is chiyut, which is life force, because the wisdom and the intellect and the genius that are behind everything are what give it its life. As it says in Kohelet and Ecclesiastes, the chokhmah, wisdom, is what brings to life. That aspect of intelligence, of wisdom, is what gives something its chiyut, its life force, its oomph, its get up and go. So what can we take from this? Because every bit of Torah, we're only scratching the surface of this Torah. But what can we get from this? We can get from this that, what I think about it is that a lot of people, when they think about Chassidut, right? They say Chassidut is kind of about, or especially Rabbi Nachman, it's about this kind of touchy-feely sort of Judaism, which is more involved with the emotions and social togetherness and simcha and good times, relative simple Judaism, or I would say an emotional, visceral Judaism. This is true. It's true on some level, but we see from the first Torah of Torah Aleph of Rabbi Nachman the emphasis on who is an Ish Yisraeli? An Ish Yisraeli is somebody who, with penetrating intelligence, who seeks to understand what's going on. Hey, Gilad. Hey, man. Thanks for the compliment. Gilad, thanks for stopping by, dude. Promise there will be more music on this channel sometime soon. But in the meantime, I'm filling the airspace with our holy, sweet Torah. So Chassidus, as I was saying, the point being is that you see from the first Torah and Torah Aleph how much Rabbi Nachman is emphasizing the fact that we gotta. Awesome. I was been wondering who it is. So we see that how much Rabbi Nachman is emphasizing just from the get go, Gilad. How important it is just to use our brains and to be smart, and we see throughout the ages how much this is emphasized in all branches of Yiddishkeit, that we have to be like Yaakov. We always have to go with Chochmah. We always have to try to be smart. We have to use our minds, not allow the vicissitudes of history and different things that are going on to sway our emotions. We have to use the great shemesh, the great light, like the sun of our minds, to illuminate our lives and to see things with reason, to see the seichel behind things. And that should allow us to walk on the good path, on the happy path, on the path of shleimut, and the path of Yaakov Avinu, Bezrat Hashem. So I got to head off to work. That would be a smart thing to do right now, and maybe catch a bit of a workout before that. Gilad, take it easy, man. Hope you're doing well. I guess you're in Montreal. It's early there. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Good way to start the day. All right. Awesome. So I'll catch you later. Stay cool, man. It is in the morning, baby. Yeah, I was late today. Late start. You too, bro. Love you too. Be good. Catch you later. How's the Hyundai? Just joking.